Let's find out where that item is real quick. Actually, let's stop everything.
Their business in Bust Oak complete, the Runefaust army prepared their last line of defense against the Shining Force's approach to Pao, the last stop on the way to Urianbatol, where Max hoped to acquire passage to the eastern continent. To this end, they employed the laser eye, an excavated ancient weapon, plus a powerful mercenary named Pao. Alas, after being betrayed by their mightiest ally, and having their own army decimated by the laser eye, the Runefaust army was again defeated by the Shining Force. With his last breath, Jim the Knight placed all his hopes now in the great General Elliot, then died forever because priests are biased jerks who only grant respawn powers to Shining Force people. The adventure continues.
Chapter 4: The Great Fortress of Balbazak. The Shining Force reached the Pao Prairie to discover that Pao was a town of wagons. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PlayView. The name's gurvmlk and I'll be your host as we dive back into the world of Shining Force, the legacy of great intention for the Sega Genesis. By this point, you know the drill. New chapter, new town. Let's gather some information, shall we? Starting with this lady. Have you heard about General Elliot? No. General Elliot is one of the greatest warlords of Runefaust, but I'm sure he is not evil of heart. He was the one who saved us when a group of bandits invaded this town. It sounds like a stand-up enemy. Welcome to Pao, a town that's truly on the move. So, in case it weren't obvious already, the town of Pao is a city of nomads who just travel the land. Most of their town consists of wagons like this and tents that they can just pick up and move as they need to. Who are you? I can't let any old stranger enter here. What about this side? Who are you? I can't let any old stranger enter here. Alright, so we can't go in there yet. I believe, yeah, this is a shop, but it's just an item shop, so they don't really have anything useful. I generally don't buy items throughout this game. Usually healing magic alone is enough. Not to mention, I rather save my money for weapons. Especially on this run that I'm trying to kinda swap my party in and out as I go. Money is gonna be an issue as we progress through the game. Stop and go, stop and go. This nomadic life is really starting to bother me. The game doesn't really give you enough. I've done similar things before, not exactly like this, but the game doesn't really give you enough money to equip all your characters. It expects you to just choose a party of 12 and then stick with them, so money will become tight after a while, so I really don't want to waste money on items. Are you gonna let me talk to you, guy? Walk in front of me. He's going every direction except right. God, finally! Are you Max? Yes. The guy in the corner wants to talk to you. He says it's very important. Well, maybe if it was so important to find out if I were Max, you should have talked to me, not hide in a corner for 5 minutes.
Question.
Huh?
Do you have a watch?
No, why?
Do you know what a minute is?
What? Of course I do.
I don't think you do.
Hello, unique sprite. Greetings, Max. I am General Elliot of Runefaust. Will you listen to me? Yes. Good, for what I have to say should interest you. Runefaust has been corrupted by Darksoul. He came from nowhere to sway our king. Darksoul told King Ramladu that the world would be his to rule forever. All he needed was the legacy of the ancients, Darksoul claimed. I read that sentence completely wrong. Our king listened. Though I hate Darksoul and his plans, I am a loyal subject to King Ramladu. When we meet next, Max, it will be on the battlefield. Our king is fully under Darksoul's influence. all this warfare is Dark Souls doing. If you defeat me in battle, please free Runefaust from Dark Souls' clutches. So now we have a goal. We need to finish up here and then go meet Elliot on the battlefield, with the promise that if we defeat him, we'll fulfill his dying wish and free Runefaust from Dark Souls' clutches, because he's the one behind everything. Who are you? Where is Vankar? He's supposed to stop strangers. Well, he didn't stop me, and I'm about as strange as they get. Treasure! Longsword! There's a upgrade weapon for Max. Equip Max with Longsword, make him stronger! Runefaust, Guardiana, the Ancients, I can't worry about such things. That makes sense. For a nomadic city, none of this probably matters at all. If trouble comes up, you can just move somewhere else. I'm worried about the train driver. He's talking to those engines too much. Hello, priest. Hamster! And Joker just joined the Shining Force. Welcome, Max. I've been expecting you. How can I help you and the Shining Force? I have people to promote. I think it's just Ken. Oh, and Tao. And Joker. Knight to Paladin! Although, despite this being an RPG, that doesn't mean he can suddenly heal people as a paladin. Tao wants a promotion from mage to wizard. Mage is a special job class in this game because it's like the only one that actually fits. No, there's one more that fits in the 4-letter space. One thing I actually enjoyed as a kid was, let's just promote Joghurt real quick. Promote him from a yogurt to a yogurt. Absolutely nothing changes. You can just promote him infinitely to no effect. But one thing I actually kind of enjoyed as a kid was looking at those 4 letters and trying to figure out what all the jobs were. Some of them, like Knight, Paladin, Wizard, Healer, some of them are pretty easy, but there are others that were a little trickier to figure out because they weren't very conventional. Bread of Life! We'll move again soon. We're going to Uran Battle. Uran Battle. Uran Battle. However it's pronounced. When you promote your characters, your stats drop. And the reason I haven't been using my stat boosters yet is because that promotion drop kind of negates those. So you want to save your stat boosting items until later on when you're ready to promote. That way, the boosts from those items don't wind up going to waste because you did it too early. I have some stuff to sell. I think I also need a couple more power spears now that I think about it. Luke and Gort can't use the long sword. The short sword and the middle sword are the only swords they can use. From now on, they'll just be sticking to axes. Yeah, I actually need a couple more power spears. Give one to him, and give another to him for, what's to come. And actually, just gonna go ahead right now and sell his bronze lance, because he's not gonna be needing that anymore. Hello. We travel all over Pao Prairie, and we're getting ready to leave right now. Even if you defeat Elliot, there's still Balbazak to get past. Good luck. I don't know Balbazak, so I don't care. Hello. I am Ernest. Balbazak destroyed my town. I want revenge. Seems so many people in this game want revenge for destructions of towns or people. Ew, treasures, I'm gonna steal your stuff, lady. Legs of haste, but can't carry it. I forgot to sell his middle sword. Hang on, I'm just gonna go do that real quick. You know, I'm gonna sell this stupid thing. I'd rather have the money than even use that. That's just... You saw the bikini with Tao before. That's just the same thing, but for Henri, and... it doesn't even apply to the battle sprites anyway, so... it's kind of useless. Alright, we got Legs of Haste. I think that might be the first of those we've got. Those can be used to increase a character's agility stat. Nothing particularly special. Just look! Don't touch it or the train will start to move.
Ooh, what does this button do? Please, please, do not push the button.
The engine driver decides where we stop every day. It's a mystery to the rest of us. That seems kind of peculiar. I am Queen Corin. Have you enjoyed your visit? I think we're ready to leave. Everything is ready, Your Highness. We can leave anytime you wish. Well, let's not be rude to our visitor. Is it okay with you if we move along? Yeah. We'll be leaving now. Good luck. Please step outside. It's time for us to go. Wow, what a flight. I've never been this far from Bestoke before. It's the crazy old guy from before. Hey, down there, I want to help you fight those nasty Runefaust beasties. I forgot to buy him a weapon. Whoa, it won't stop. I'll be right back, I think. Just wait a moment. No, I'm not going to be using him in the next battle anyway. I'm joining up, youngster. I figure you need some experience on this team. Kokichi joins the Shining Force. I'll be at headquarters. So there's a special cutscene that only plays if you talked with the guy back in Bestoke. And you had to play the sequence where he tested out his machine. Otherwise that cutscene won't happen and you'll have missed the character. Hey, are you Max? My name is Vankar. Did you hear about me in Pao? Actually, I did. Good, good. I was pretty famous there, but now I'm looking for adventure. I heard about you in Pao. I'm joining up. No, don't thank me. It's my pleasure. Vankar joins the Shining Force. I'll be at headquarters. So already we've got 3 new recruits in this one town alone. So now we gotta head to headquarters, set everything up, give one of those power spears to Vankar, I guess, because he also needs one. I think I gave him the wrong one though. And now we've got to set everything up for our next battle. There is no refuge on the Pao Prairie. Stick together when fighting. But first, we have to check out the best character in the game, Jogurt. That's about as strong as I would expect a hamster to be. And he can't gain levels! And I believe he's immune to stat boosting items. So basically he can't do anything. He's just a mascot. Alright, here we are on the Pao Prairie, ready to take on General Elliot, the great swordsman of Runefaust, on what is quite possibly the most expansive map in the entire game. Fortunately, there's not very many trees or hills. Most of the outside battlefields are just riddled with nonsense to get through. This battlefield's pretty smooth. You don't have to worry about all that stupid stuff, having your movement impeded by a bunch of stuff that's in the way. So that being said, with those 2 attributes of this battlefield in mind, I set up my team accordingly, removed my flying units because they don't really have much benefit here as far as their mobility goes because nobody's really impeded by this terrain. And I brought all of my knights so they can take full advantage of their high mobility. And then I just filled out the team from there with whoever I felt would be useful without what am I trying to say? Like, I thought about bringing Xylo as well, because he also has good movement and is a solid warrior, but I didn't, because there will be plenty of battles later on where his ability to move through forests will be a strong asset, whereas a lot of these other characters I may not be able to use effectively during those kinds of fights. So I'd rather use those characters here and save Xylo for situations where his ability to move through the woods gives him a special advantage. Before this, I did do a little bit of farming. I came into this battle once already because one of the lizard men has a unique axe that he can drop, and I'm pretty sure every time you do this fight, he will drop it again. And usually I don't worry about that because generally speaking, I'm only using either Luke or Gort. I pretty much never use both of them at the same time, but considering how I'm going about this run and swapping my party members around as I feel they are useful, it's very probable that there will be situations such as this very battle where I am using both Luke and Gort simultaneously. Because of that, I want to get 2 of this axe that the guy drops, which is the heat axe, a very strong axe. It'll be their strongest weapon for quite a while. Not to mention, you can use it as an item to cast Blaze level 2 on enemies, so it also gives them a ranged area of effect attack when they need to use something like that. Or if you need to kill an enemy and don't want to risk missing, you have the added benefit of magic not being able to miss by using that item instead of a basic attack. So I wanted to get 2 heat axes. So I ran this battle once already, just until I got the heat axe. I didn't want to excessively grind because I feel like challenging myself and seeing how things go with swapping my party members around. The point of that would be somewhat defeated if I just grinded when my levels fell behind. Because I want to kind of see how my levels will keep up and how that will affect the efficiency of my playthrough overall if I'm constantly swapping characters instead of just sticking with a select 12. That's one of the reasons I want to do this, is to see how that will impact things. So I didn't try to kill excessive enemies, I just killed what I could until I got the heat axe. Then as soon as I got the heat axe on Max's next turn, I retreated. So that's all that happened there. So I got a little bit of experience points, a little bit of money. I got a heat axe, but I can't use it yet because one of the benefits of promoting your characters is they can use stronger weapons. So both Luke and Gort have to become promoted before they'll be able to use the heat axe. So I have 1 heat axe, not armed with it at the moment, but I have it. And then this run of the battle should get me the second one that I will need for later on. So we should be good there. Now it's just a matter of actually taking on Elliot. And this chapter is a heck of a chapter. I gotta say, this is one of the chapters that I always felt was one of the best ones because so much happens during it. You get a ton of new party members. We've already recruited 3 before the battle even began. Not to mention, very first battle of this chapter and it's already a boss fight. And in addition to that, this battlefield in particular really stands out from the rest that you see throughout the game because of just how large and open it is. So, growing up, this was probably my favorite chapter of the entire game. That was a smart move. They're just lining up. They're not going to attack me. They just, like I've said before, the AI in this game is very preset on what it likes to do. So these lizard men aren't attacking because their AI doesn't tell them to attack. Their AI tells them to get in this lineup formation and then go from there. So that's what they're focusing on more rather than engaging me in combat. I actually need to double check which of these lizard men has the heat axe because that is also a very dangerous enemy. It's this one, which gives him an astonishing 35 attack power, 11 higher than the normal lizard men. And with May probably being my tankiest character with only 17 defense, they can still deal nearly 20 damage to her with that weapon, so that's an enemy to watch out for. There's Ken's nice new promoted sprite. Arthur, oof, I actually don't want to get Arthur in a situation where he can be surrounded, because he can't take hits, but I believe most of these enemies already just went, so if I've been paying close enough attention, I should be able to get other characters in the way to kind of cover for him. Because he also has my power ring, so I'd rather him not die before I can reach the boss. Because I'd like to be able to use that to power up 1 or 2 characters for taking on Elliot himself. So hopefully that wasn't a mistake. Gong is actually going to heal Max, because Max is in danger at the moment. He took those 2 hits and took a lot of damage. If the turn order gets wonky again, or if a double attack or critical hit occurs, then he could be in trouble. Hopefully all my bad luck faded away when I was farming for that heat axe, because holy crap! I lost 2 guys during that due to consecutive critical hits from the enemies. It was ridiculous. So even when I wasn't talking, the Let's Play curse was still hitting me hard. You're the Heat Axe one, right? Yes. So I need to focus fire on him, but I also need to make sure it's somebody that has inventory space, otherwise they won't be able to actually collect the axe when it drops. How's Gort's defense? It's solid for these enemies, kinda. I'm gonna go for this guy. The enemy with the Heat Axe just took his turn, so it should be safe to focus on him with other people, because even though it would be extremely unlikely, it's still possible Gort could have one-shotted him with like a double critical or something. Alright, good. He didn't move. Let's not move Max directly into danger. Let's keep him a bit further back. He can't take as many hits as you would like your lead character you have to keep alive to be able to take. Which is nice. It's nice that Max isn't too tanky, otherwise that would make the game a little too easy. I feel like that's a problem in particular with Shining Force CD for the Sega CD. I feel like that's kind of a problem in that game because the main hero in that I've always felt can take too much abuse and made the game a little easy, at least in comparison to the other Shining Force games. It had some cool battles, some cool mechanics with some of them, like the fizzle balls and stuff like that, but I always just felt like the leader in that game just was way too durable to enemy attacks. Oh, that's not good. One thing is, I'm used to having two mages during this battle. I'm usually still using both Tao and Henri during this fight. So, dealing with this huge crowd of enemies is going to be a little bit more difficult than it normally is. Let's try to get this guy out of the way. I do not want him hitting anybody, probably one-shotting him. Got a second Heat Axe. That's exactly what I thought. I was positive you could farm those, but it's been so long since I've tried that it was possible that I was mistaken. Let's use the arrow on the flying enemy. Not an incredible hit, but archers in this game are generally underpowered with attack strength. Another moronic move by the enemies, deciding actively not to attack. Arthur's right next to a level up, so I'm gonna try to not get a kill with him. Dang it! I wanted a hit, though, so I could get that level up, but what are you gonna do? There we go. Get one of the knights out of the way. Slowly whittling them down. Just gotta hope that I last. Have Lo heal himself, because he can't take another hit like that. That took out half his health exactly. Level up some more defense, maybe? Hit points, but it's a little late for that because I just healed. But it's better than nothing. Who does Ken want to attack? Let's go for this guy. Solid hit. Alright, Gort, for you. Get in the way so that so none of the lizard men, if they move, can reach Max, and then whack that guy. Double whack that guy. See, that could have happened if I attacked the lizard man with the Heat Axe. Something like that could have happened, and it would have taken only one of those to be a critical hit, and then the enemy would have died, and I would have had to retreat and try again because Gort doesn't have any space to grab the Heat Axe. Alright, Pelkin. Go after this guy. Try to get him off low. The interesting thing about the knights is the best knight in the game is either Pel or Arthur, depending on how you level up your characters. Because basically there's two general approaches to this game. Either you promote late at level 20 or you promote early at level 10. And I always promote at level 10 because of stories that I'll get into later on. So if you promote at level 10, then generally speaking, Pel is the best knight in the game because he has very strong early level stat gains, but very weak late level stat gains. So he gets really strong really early with his levels, but past level 10 to 15 or so, he doesn't get much from it, so he doesn't benefit a whole lot from a late promotion. However, Arthur, on the other hand, has terrible early level ups, but astronomical late level ups to the point where he's basically either the worst character in the game or the best character in the game, depending on if you promote him early or late, and then on top of that, if you manage to get him to a high level after promotion. So, whether or not your best knight will be Pel or Pele or however it's pronounced, or Arthur, depends on how you level them up, when you promote them, and how you actually manage to get their levels to develop throughout the game. Arthur having the greatest potential, but being the most difficult to actually reach that potential with. Whereas Pel is super easy to level up. He's pretty much guaranteed to be incredible, takes no effort at all, but he kind of starts to fall off after a while. I mean, he doesn't really fall off, he's still really good at the end of the game, but compared to, like, Arthur, for example, he's just... If you both level them up, like, if you do everything you can to level them up and such, he eventually starts to fall behind by comparison. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Decent level up for Henri. That seems like a weird level up for a healer, but honestly, Henri, despite being a healer, is one of the tankiest characters in the game against physical attacks. She gets no hit points. Even by the end of the game, if using her consistently throughout the game on your main party, she will only probably hit maybe like 20 hit points, if that, by the end. But her defense stat just skyrockets once she's promoted. So, she can take hits really well despite having no hit points. So long as it's not magic. Because she gets no hit points, she can't take hits from magic for crap. But her physical defense is like one of the best in the game. At least for a wizard. I mean, I don't think it's really one of the like best, especially when you start comparing to a lot of really tough warriors. But I guess what I'm just trying to say is that it's a lot higher than you would expect from a wizard. Gort, now that he's level 10, I'm gonna not really try to use him actively anymore. He's just gonna try to stand there and take hits. When I am approaching Elliot's main force at the end of this, I might actually try using Gort as bait to lure in the enemy knights. And then attack with my other characters. That way I can still get some use out of Gort without wasting him. Before Gong gets promoted, I keep forgetting, I actually had a silly little story about his unpromoted battle sprite. When I was playing this game with a friend a long time ago, this is actually the same friend with the story about the dwarf slaying arrow that I mentioned in the second episode of this series. But another thing during that run of the game that we never finished was with Gong. I don't know exactly why, this is just a weird thing we came up with, but because of his attack animation, whenever he attacked, we started calling his attack the crunch punch because of how he clenches his fist right as he punches the enemy. And so for whatever reason, we just started calling that move the crunch punch. And I think we even started calling Gong crunch punch. Just that's the name we started referring to him as. It was just a ridiculous, silly little thing we were doing during that brief time we were playing the game. And now move in on these healers, which I actually want to try to take out with some of my weaker characters like Arthur and Diane. Pel doesn't need experience points from healers. He will manage just fine on his own. Gort is just there. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of these healers by attacking them with characters that will actually need the experience a bit more in the long run. And if they heal themselves, then great, I'll get more experience points out of them. So just inching myself closer to these healers. The knights shouldn't move until I pass this line. Max is injured, but he's also not going to really be participating much anymore in this fight. Alright, Diane, get at this Dark Priest and deal some damage. You too, Arthur. Okay, the knights are moving in now. That's... It must be because of... Yeah, it's because of Diane. They're after her. How well can Pao take a hit from these guys? Defense 22. He is just so incredible. He is definitely, regardless of the stuff I was saying about between Arthur and him, he is definitely one of the better characters in this game. Attack power 4. He is just so powerful. He's one of my main knights. Generally speaking, there are 4 knights, or rather spear wielders I use throughout the game, and I just kind of alternate between them depending on the playthrough of this game, but generally speaking, my knights when I play this game kind of fluctuate between May, Pao, Vankar, and Gunts, who I haven't recruited quite yet, but he'll be joining us soon. So those 4 characters, Pao, May, Gunts, and Vankar, are always my knights. 70 or 80% of the time, the ones I use are May and Gunts. But I like to, and then Pao and Vankar are the ones I just kind of use every now and then if I feel like switching it up a bit. I'll swap 1 or 2 of those other 2 characters for one of them, just to do things a little bit differently. These healers aren't getting much chance to actually heal themselves, but I'm also not going to sit here and wait for them to do it. So if they heal themselves, they heal themselves. If they don't, whatever. I actually didn't expect him to reach Vankar like that. Ow. Now these enemies aren't a problem. Let's actually get this whack with low. Or not. It's nice that Low's kind of caught up with Gong. For a while, Gong was really dominating the levels as far as healers go, so it's nice that Low has managed to catch up a bit. Nice crit. Now Luke's also everybody's reaching level 10. I'm gonna have nobody left to fight Elliot. Because once a character's at level 10, I don't want to use them anymore because I don't want them hogging experience points. Because as soon as I promote them, their experience points are going to reset to 0 anyway. So I'd rather just not use them unless it's an emergency, which usually doesn't happen. Usually that's not a concern. Bam! And a lot of experience points for that, too. Now that enemy is set up to be taken out by somebody else. This battle's going smoothly. It's a big battlefield, but it's not an especially difficult battle. I mean, you just basically just have 2 large groups of enemies you have to power through. And then at the end, you've got a boss fight with a pretty strong guy. Elliot can be dangerous. He can hit hard and has a lot of hit points, but not to mention he has those 2 guys just kind of sitting there backing him up, but he's not, but he doesn't have any magic we have to worry about, so that's a plus. I feel like Diane needs experience a little bit more than May. Hope that doesn't end up biting me in the ass down the line. Move Max forward a little bit. Gong, use your last heal on May. It's getting to the point where Gong just doesn't have enough magic points to keep up with healing. Alright, sweet. Gong is now level 10. And fortunately, I managed to tell the Crunch Punch story just in time. So I don't have to worry about missing that opportunity. Alright, we've broken through the second line of Elliot's forces. Now we just need to engage Elliot himself. Who needs healing? I guess mostly just Vankar at the moment. Low's not hitting level 10 as well this battle, but he should be able to in the next one, I imagine, hopefully. Generally speaking, this is the last battle where I have anybody who isn't promoted, aside from maybe like 1 or 2 new recruits. So it's kind of weird having such a large party that's at these levels. Although, funnily enough, I feel like it's actually possibly making my characters a little bit stronger than usual. As has already been said, when you promote, you become weaker for a little bit. Your stat gains become a lot stronger down the line, but for the first level or two, you're weaker. So it's kind of funny that because I'm not promoted, I'm perhaps stronger right now than I usually am for this fight. Although that crowd was still a little bit tougher than it usually is, because typically I have both Tao and Henri, like I said, for dealing with the large group of enemies, because I can have both of them blasting the enemies with higher level blaze magic. Get at this turret! That's an interesting enemy for a game like this. The game is mostly like medieval fantasy and stuff, but like a lot of medieval fantasy RPGs of the time, they had to have some sort of advanced technology from a past civilization or whatever. That's just like a staple for these kinds of games of this era. I'm actually going to use the power ring to boost May since he can't do anything yet. That way I have that going for me as I'm heading towards the boss. Get things set up so I won't have to worry about it when he can actually attack. That way when he can attack, I can attack with him rather than wasting the turn to boost then. Elliot's not moving. As far as Pell goes, let's get him attacking Elliot, actually. That's one of the most intimidating sprites in this game. He has that wicked helmet and enormous sword. He looks like he's about 8-9 feet tall, which I guess since since he's a dragon man, it makes sense that he would be exceptionally large. Don't want to get Max too close, since I'm not going to be fighting with him anyway. There's no point in endangering him if I'm not going to be actively using him to fight. I'm actually going to use May first to get rid of this artillery, rather than use her power boost to attack Elliot immediately. Get the normal enemies out of the way first, that way I can at least get the experience for the kills on them as well. Can Arthur even efficiently hurt Elliot? Attack 27, defense 17. He can do a decent amount of damage, but I think I'm actually going to go for the healer first. Try to get the healer out of the way before he has a chance to restore Elliot's hit points. Ah, so close to leveling up. I was hoping I would get a level up from that, so... ooh, that would have been an awesome kill. Ah, dang. Well, I'd rather he heal himself than heal Elliot. Although I think, like Marionette, the boss from before, I believe Elliot's hit points will also recover over time if you don't kill him quickly enough. But we've got all these people to just surround him and gang up on him. There might be some casualties trying to defeat him, because he'll just whack everybody super hard and take them out. But there shouldn't be any concerns as far as actually winning this fight. That healer is really acrobatic. Yeah, Henri's probably down from this. 17 damage, yeah, that was a definite overkill. Yeah, Elliot heals himself. Okay, I thought so. Keep Pell focused on him with his massive attack power. Diane won't hit Elliot very hard anyway, so she can focus on the healer. Perfect. Now it's just you and me, Elliot. And by you and me, I mean you being just overwhelmed by 10 other soldiers while Max goes off and hides in the bushes somewhere.
I'm only brave when I have to be.
Boost spell ends. That's fine. Nice crit. Ah, really? Ah, really? Come on, stop giving me characters I don't want to kill him with. Ooh. I'm fine with low taking him out. That would almost gain him a level. Kerpow! Or not. 1 hit point left. Max, run away. I don't want to kill... You know what? No, I'm not doing that. Arthur, you run somewhere and... The power ring isn't damaged, so you come over here, power up Diane, I guess, and get the level up this way. Perfect. Now give me a turn that can actually take this guy out. Well, Diane, actually, yeah, she should be able to do it with her power boost. Yeah, perfect. And another battle down and another boss down. Perhaps you have the strength to rescue King Ramladu and Runefaust. Stop Dark Soul. Promise that you will free Runefaust, known as Protectora, before Dark Soul came. Elliot was a great warrior. Too bad he was our enemy. But look, the traveling town of Pao is coming up again. So we did it! We defeated General Elliot, and by saying nothing because Max doesn't talk, we promised to defeat Dark Soul and rescue Runefaust, which used to be called Protectora. Apparently. Back to Pao! It's the old town, but also new town. Let's talk to people. Welcome to Pao, a town that's truly on the move. If you want to destroy Balbazak, you should do it now before Ernest gets killed. I feel like they could have arranged these words a little bit better so there wasn't an exclamation point all by itself on the bottom. He's in there fighting all alone, yelling about vengeance. Go back him up. Okay, I'll get right on that. Balbazak is a dangerous opponent. He controls the fortress in Uran battle. I realized at a certain point that I've been forgetting to check the bookcases, and now I'm just so deep in that I don't even want to begin worrying about it. If you want weapons, you're in the right place. But they're all the same weapons. And I think this is just the item shop. Pack, unpack. I need to get a job in shop that stays in one place. Well, he works at the shop, but he's not selling me anything. A lot of good that is. Rollin'. The life of the nomad is the one for me. I saw a big chunk of iron walking, making loud noises and steaming all over. It's over in the sheep pen. Welcome to my item shop. Yeah, it's just the same. But if I go into deals, I can repurchase this stuff. I have no intention of doing so, but I could. I've got a great item here. This thing warms an egg and hatches it in seconds. You have an interesting egg there. Can I try to warm it? Yes. Great. Give it to me, please. Max handed over the Domingo egg. Come on, do your stuff. It works. The egg's hatching. What is that thing? It's the win button. Thing indeed! How rude! I'm
Domingo.
at your service! Win button joins the Shining Force! I'll be at headquarters, thanks for hatching me! I have a bit of a story to go with that character, which I'm gonna have to try to remember to tell during the next battle. That monster is frightening everyone, the sheep too! Hello, monster! Hey, good to see you again! It's me, Guns from Rindo! Look at this steam suit! That's a misrepresentation of his mobility inside that suit. Look at these moves! The old dog finally got it working. He did? Nothing about what he just said proposed that he was joining me, but okay. Welcome aboard. So that's party member number 5 during this chapter, and he's not the last one that we will be recruiting. So much happens during this chapter that I just really enjoyed it growing up. I have dead people and people that need to be promoted. First, bring them back. Ken died. Give me money and I will raise him from the dead. I remember one time at a friend's house when he had rented Ogre Battle. And in that game, to revive your fallen party members, you talk to a witch. As a kid, I remember seeing that and I thought that that was really strange. that you would talk to a witch instead of a priest, but my friend actually pointed out that that made more sense. Because, I mean, I was like, well, witches are evil. They won't bring people back from the dead for you. But my friend pointed out that it actually makes more sense for a witch to do it. Because they're more into the dark arts, they would be more inclined to raise the dead. Their powers would be more associated potentially with necromancy and the sort, whereas a priest would be much less likely to bring somebody back from the dead and would be much more inclined to offer their condolences for the loss, and rather than bring the person back to life, their powers would be more associated with helping the soul move on to the next life. And that's something that always stuck with me and I found kind of interesting, and it's something I sometimes think about whenever I'm playing a game where priests revive your characters, because I feel like he brought up a good point that it does make more sense that something like a witch or a necromancer or something would revive fallen characters, whereas a priest, by practice, wouldn't really do that. They wouldn't bring somebody back from the dead. Rather, they would be more inclined to help with the transition to the afterlife, because praising the afterlife and preparing people for that is more their thing than the prevention of passing on from the mortal realm. Where's Ernest? When is he coming back?
Elliot loved Runefaust but hated Dark Soul. I hope he is at peace now.
Speaking of the priest stuff, Ernest went to Uranbatol. That's where you need to go if you want to ship. General Elliot was worried that Dark Soul was getting ready to open some door. Oh no, a door! I can open doors too. Watch. I just need a door. Kerpow! I just beat Dark Soul to his ultimate goal. Door opening. That Vankar, where did he go? Didn't you know where he went? Yes, he joined me. You saw him? Did you let him join your troops? Yes. He's your problem now. He's a good fighter when he feels like it. He's one of my most frequently used on and off characters, so I'm okay with him joining up. Ernest heard you defeated Elliot and he decided to attack Balbazak's fortress. But he could have waited for me. If he heard that I defeated Elliot, he could have, waited for me to go to Balbazak's fortress. Before he left, Elliot gave me a message for you. It was about Prompt. Yeah? Prompt is across the sea. There you may find folk who know much about the ancients. Is that the whole message? Yeah. Yeah, why? You could have just told me that. I don't feel like I needed to talk to you twice for that. Ooh, a new arrow. They updated their treasures, giving me more stuff to steal. Perfect. Treasures. Elven arrow. And this, I believe, is a steel sword. Steel sword. There's a new upgrade for Max. I don't recall if Hans and Diane can use the Elven arrow yet. They might have to be promoted. Okay, they can use it. And that's an extremely useful weapon. You can touch it now. The engine is stopped. And the Elven arrow is an extremely useful weapon because it's the very first arrow in the game that has extended range. So now he can attack from 3 spaces away instead of just 2. Speaking of weapons, I just promoted both Gort and Luke from warriors to gladiators, so now I have to give them the heat axes that I acquired in the previous battle. A massive attack power boost of 9 for them. Perfect, and now they also have magic that they can use, should the need arise, which it will at one point or another. Now oops, I don't want to buy, I want to sell some stuff. Yeah, I need to get a power spear for both him and, Kokichi as well. So many characters in this game use spears, and it's kind of annoying, because there's a finite amount of best weapons for a lot of the categories, such as spears. You can only get one of the best spear in the game, and I don't like to have a bunch of characters that can't have their best weapon, and so because of that, I frequently would limit the amount of characters I use with certain weapon types. For example, I never have more than 2 spear wielders in my party at the end of the game. but there's so many characters who use spears that kind of restricts what I can do with my final lineup. Speaking of lineups, we gotta prepare for the next battle, so I'm gonna do just that. And rearrange my troops for the fight that's ahead. Advice: be sure to use your archers, mages, and knights to attack from afar. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing since the very first battle. I don't need to be hearing that now. In regards to what I said before with Guns, he has a movement of 4, which is the lowest movement rating in the game, except for 1 or 2 bosses that have a movement rating of 0. Yet he's running around in that sheep pen showing off his abilities, yet that is a completely inaccurate representation of his abilities. Because not only does he have a measly movement rating of 4, but he's only one of 2 characters you recruit whose movement is that low. In every other case, your movement range is from 5 to 7. You get 2 characters, Guns and 1 other near the end of the game, who have a movement rating of 4. Alright, our business in Pao complete. I'm pretty sure I talked to everybody that existed in the town. I shouldn't be missing anything. So now we move on to the fortress Uran Batol. Max, you must break through to reach the harbor. Be careful, but be quick. Yes, we must be careful and quick. So quick that we're going to be ending it off here for the day. Hasn't been the most exciting episode, but I'm just trying to think ahead in regards to what's coming up. And with all that in consideration, we're gonna call it here. Next time we'll be invading the fortress. Thanks for watching. Unlike 95% of the game, I know exactly what I'm gonna try to do. I actually want to kill Pel or Pelly or Pele, whatever, because he's the bad guy, apparently. Or would I rather? No. Or would I? Actually, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with her. Henri takes a hard hit. Good. My usable characters are quickly diminishing. All I wanted was for him to punch the guy, so that's a good start. And I was a fool. But then Gong doesn't even punch people anymore. Well, they got in my way. With every promotion, we reduce the count of exposed horse butts in our party. It's a terrible price to pay, but it's worth it for greater strength.